Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show where we dig into complex strategic ideas and try to make them really practical for you.
That's the goal.
Today, we're diving deep into, well, the architecture of adaptation. It comes from a U.S. Air Force Colonel, John Boyd. He never actually ran a company, but his ideas, they're everywhere. Silicon Valley, the military.
Absolutely. Boyd was a real maverick. A fighter pilot, a
Yeah.
strategist. Just brilliant. He spent decades blending physics, philosophy, human psychology, trying to create this unified theory of conflict, of change.
It's wild how concepts he worked out for, like dogfighting, are now basically the operating system for super adaptive organizations.
It really is. And that's our mission today, right? To kind of synthesize the sources on Boyd's framework.
Exactly. And his core idea, it's pretty revolutionary, honestly. It flips how you might think about competition. He said victory, war, business, whatever. It doesn't come from just being bigger or stronger. It comes from the speed of learning, how fast you adapt.
That's it. Boyd's big insight, his revelation, was that surviving in a complex world, it depends entirely on adapting faster than the world. It can confuse you, can disorient you.
You stay coherent while your competition falls apart.
Right. And the tool for this, the framework, is the ODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, act.
Okay, ODE. And why does this matter so much right now? I mean, everyone listening, you're dealing with constant change, complexity, tech disruption.
Exactly. Boyd's ideas aren't old news. They feel incredibly timely. They're tools for managing this chaos. And we really want to explore how this ODA framework isn't just some, rigid checklist.
No.
The sources call it the living architecture of adaptation. It breathes.
And we're definitely going to hit on one part of that loop, the one Boyd said was the absolute key.
Oh, yeah. The stage that acts like the filter between seeing something and knowing what to do about it, it's critical.
So speaking of speed, let's start there. The advantage of agility. Boyd was apparently obsessed with this idea of fast transients,
Fast transients.
which means like rapid, smooth shifts
Yeah.
between different states, maneuvers.
Yeah, think about a dogfight again. The pilot who could snap from a climb to a tight turn, then maybe into a dive. Faster and smoother than the other guy.
They win.
They win. Not because the plane was necessarily bigger or had more guns, maybe, but because they moved through the air more fluidly, more efficiently.
And that maps perfectly to business, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The sources really hammer this point. Agility beats sheer size.
It does. If your company takes, 3 months to decide on a new product feature.
While the competition launches a beta, gets feedback, pivots in like 48 hours.
Yeah, you're already behind. Way behind. Boyd's quote fits perfectly. Maneuver faster than the environment can disorder you. Keep your coherence.
Which brings us to this term, decision latency.
Right. Decision latency. It's that lag time, isn't it? Between seeing something change and actually doing something effective about it.
And slow companies. They're like those big lumbering bombers Boyd knew about. Vulnerable.
Totally vulnerable in a fast fight. And that latency, that delay, that is the modern battlefield for business.
If your rival can cycle through their ODA loop, observe, orient, decide, back just say 10% faster than you.
They're setting the terms. They're defining reality while you're still figuring out what hit you. You're always reacting, never proactive.
Okay, so speed is key. What about physics? You mentioned fighter jets. There's an energy metaphor here too.
Oh, definitely. Boyd's energy maneuverability theory. It was about designing jets to maximize their ability to change speed and altitude quickly. Basically maximizing the potential energy they had available for maneuvers.
Okay. And that's like organizational vitality.
It's a perfect metaphor. Every company, just like every jet, has a finite amount of energy. Financial energy, cognitive energy like brain power, and even moral energy, trust.
And if you waste that energy on like internal squabbles or endless meetings.
You've got nothing left in the tank when the market suddenly shifts and you need to make that critical maneuver. You're out of fuel.
So efficiency is paramount.
Yeah.
Protecting that energy.
Exactly. The sources use this term, transformational energy units, TEUs. It's kind of the sustainable fuel you need for real, lasting change and adaptation.
Got it. So you need to guard your TEUs.
You do, and think about what drains them. Bureaucracy, internal politics, ego. That's like drag on the airplane.
Right. It's slowing you down, burning fuel, but not getting you anywhere useful.
That's the connection. Friction inside the organization is drag. It eats energy without useful output. So what preserves TEs?
Okay, what does?
Clarity of purpose, everyone knowing the why, radical trust between people, and just ruthless simplicity in how things are designed and run.
Because if every single decision needs 5 committees to sign off.
You've burned maybe 90% of your available energy before you've even started moving. You're grounded by your own processes.
Okay, so if energy is the fuel,
Mm-hmm.
the ODA loop has to be the engine. Let's get into that. Observe, orient, decide, act.
Right, the engine.
And you stressed earlier, it's not just a line. It's a lip, a spiral, continuous.
Absolutely essential point. It's a closed system constantly feeding back into itself. You observe what's happening. Then you interpret it through your mental filters. That's orient. Then you form a plan, hypothesis, decide, and then you test it, act.
And the key is, each time around that loop, you're not just acting blindly. You're refining your understanding, your judgment, based on what happened last time.
Yes, it's learning in action. Boyd saw this as incredibly fundamental. Like the sources quote him saying, without these loops, systems just can't sense, analyze, act, or evolve. It's literally how life itself learns.
Wow. Okay, so if OD is the body, you said earlier, one part is the brain. That's orientation. The second, O.
Unquestionably the brain. Yes, orientation. We have to spend a moment here because Boyd was adamant this is the most vital stage. This is where advantage is really won or lost.
Okay, tell us why. Why is that stage the bottleneck?
Because orientation isn't just seeing the data like an observe, it's making sense of the data. It's the mental operating system you use to interpret reality.
Your worldview, almost.
Sort of. And it's shaped by, well, Boyd identified about 5 key filters. Your cultural background, your personal history and experiences, your professional training and biases, any new information coming in, and then the ongoing process of analyzing and synthesizing all that.
So if your organization's mental model, its orientation, is like running on Windows 95,
Right.
it doesn't matter how fast your jet is or how much data you're observing. You just won't process the threat correctly. You won't see it for what it is.
Exactly. A flawed orientation. Maybe it's caused by, clinging to past successes or internal politics, clouding judgment, or even just fear of admitting things are changing. That flawed orientation poisons every single decision downstream.
So you might see the market shifting, observe, but your orientation filter tells you, nah, it's just a blip, don't worry.
Precisely. You interpret the signals wrongly because the lens is distorted.
But hang on, if we're all about speed, that tight OD loop, doesn't that pressure sometimes make us skip the deep thinking and orientation? Isn't there a risk of just reacting super fast, but like wrongly?
That's the beautiful tension Boyd tackled. The goal isn't just raw speed, not reckless speed. It's coherent speed.
Coherent speed, okay.
Boyd argued that the healthiest, fastest organizations maintain really open, really fluid orientation loops, places where different perspectives, honest feedback, challenging the status quo. That stuff isn't just tolerated, it's actively sought out.
So the speed comes from trust and having a shared, accurate picture of reality, not just from rushing the decision.
Exactly. The antidote to a distorted orientation is making sure that diverse inputs, critical feedback, are constantly flowing into that shared understanding. It prevents groupthink, prevents that single lens bias.
In business terms, that means always scanning for those weak signals, those hints of change, and looking at them through lots of different, even competing viewpoints.
That's the engine of real, sustained innovation right there, constantly updating the mental map.
Okay, let's talk payoff, the competitive edge. Boyd's idea was to operate at a tempo, a speed your rivals just can't keep up with.
Yeah, it's not just about being faster. It's about being faster in a way they can't understand. The tactical goal is actually psychological.
How so?
By moving at a rhythm they can't follow, you fold your adversary back inside himself. That's Boyd's phrase. You basically shatter their ability to make sense of what's happening. You jam their ODA loop.
Whoa. So they get stuck.
They get stuck cycling between observe and orient, trying to figure out what just happened, what does this mean? While you're already acting again. You're on your next loop.
That sounds brutal for the slow incumbent. Let's try a business example, maybe a fast software startup.
Okay, yeah. Imagine they release a disruptive new pricing model every quarter, just constantly iterating based on real-time user data.
While the big legacy competitor, they see the new model, observe. They spend 2 months analyzing it, holding meetings, orient. They spend another 2 months debating a response, getting approvals, decide. And they finally launch their counter-move act just as the startup rolls out its third pricing model.
Exactly. The legacy company is perpetually reacting to a reality that no longer exists. They are constantly disoriented.
Their confusion is your advantage.
Yeah.
But doing this, keeping up that high tempo, that cohesion, it must rely heavily on the people, right? Which brings us to the moral dimension you mentioned.
It absolutely does. Boyd was really strong on this. He warned that moral disorientation, basically a loss of trust, integrity, a sense of shared purpose within the organization, is like a cancer. It kills adaptability from the inside.
So moral coherence, acting with integrity, being clear, having empathy.
Yeah.
That's not just nice to have, it's foundational for speed.
It's the bedrock. If your team doesn't trust leadership's intent, if they suspect hidden agendas or feel like they're just cogs, they will hesitate. They'll slow down their own OD loops, second-guessing decisions, CYAing, speed evaporates.
Which makes that people-first idea absolutely non-negotiable. It's not just a slogan for the break room wall.
Not at all. It's
Yeah.
pure strategy. Boyd had this very clear formula. People first, ideas second, things third.
People, ideas, things, in that order.
Always. The best tools, the best processes, the fanciest tech, things, they're useless if the people using them aren't trusted, capable, and quick thinking. People first. The quality of the ideas they generate, ideas second, depends on the quality and morale of the people.
So leadership style becomes critical then. You can't dictate every little detail.
No way. Leaders have to communicate clear intent, the why and the what, but then trust people to figure out the how. Empowerment is key.
Because micromanagement.
Micromanagement kills speed. If every tiny action needs the boss's approval, the BOC becomes the bottleneck for everyone's OD loop. You're centralizing decision latency right at the top. Trust decentralizes action and speeds everything up.
Okay, this is all starting to weave together. Let's bring in Boyd's final concept here.
Yeah.
The way knowledge itself evolves. He called it the conceptual spiral.
Right, the conceptual spiral. This is kind of the highest level of adaptation, how we actually get smarter over time.
How does it work?
It's about continuous feedback loops, but specifically involving two mental actions. Analysis, which is breaking things down, taking them apart, understanding the pieces.
Okay.
And synthesis, which is putting those pieces back together in new ways, creating a new, better understanding, a new mental model. You analyze to understand, you synthesize to innovate.
And the goal isn't to reach some perfect final understanding.
No, never perfect. The goal is to constantly find and exploit what Boyd called mismatches. Those are the gaps you discover between your current mental map of the world and how the world actually is or how it could be.
So mismatches are opportunities. That's where innovation comes from, seeing that gap and bridging it with a new synthesis.
Precisely. Innovation isn't some magical event. It's just learning faster than the world is changing. It's constantly running that analysis-synthesis cycle. Boyd's essence of winning and losing really nails this. You need that constant comparison, that tension between different ways of seeing things to keep evolving your playbook, your repertoire for dealing with the unexpected. Stop doing that. You stop learning. Period.
That's a really powerful way to frame it. So Boyd's big message, his enduring lesson: life is adaptation. Winning means evolving, staying mobile, fluid, connected, and fundamentally morally centered, especially when things get uncertain.
Well said. Strategy, then, isn't about having a crystal ball and predicting the future perfectly.
No.
It's about mastering the art of being prepared for surprise, building the capacity to adapt, whatever comes.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now? It means you have a framework, a way to think about navigating uncertainty. If your team, your organization, isn't actively working to tighten its orientation loop, to make it more open and accurate, well, it's probably not evolving fast enough.
And maybe that's the final thought to leave you with. Boyd taught that without the ODA loop, without that cycle of observe, orient, decide, act, and learn, there's no feedback, no evolution, no growth. So think about it critically. In your world, how much of that precious transformational energy we talked about is getting wasted right now? Not on fighting competitors, but on internal friction, ego, needless complexity, bureaucracy that just adds drag.
Yeah.
And then ask, what's one small shift you could make, maybe in your own team, maybe broader, a shift in your shared orientation, your collective mental model that could instantly boost your moral coherence, build trust, and just tighten up that entire OD loop?
Because that seemingly small shift.
That decision, Boyd would argue, focusing on that orientation, on that coherence, that's the real starting point for achieving sustainable speed.